I think it's important for GI Bill to keep up not only with the demand for student veterans, but also what's happening in the market, what's happening in the job market, as well as what's happening in the education market. It's important for the GI Bill program to be aligned with what's happening in the nation so we can best serve our student veterans. So I actually became the Director of Education Service in an acting capacity in November of 2018. And then later on in May of 2019, then I was actually officially appointed to the position. When I stepped into this role, we were in the midst of trying to implement two major pieces of the Colmery Act as it related to the monthly housing allowance. And that presented some challenges for us. And we needed to get out there and talk to folks to find out, what can we do better as an agency in order to get this right. And the number one thing that we heard from our stakeholders, whether it be a school or it be a student or it be our veteran service organizations, it was all about communications. They wanted to see us do more communications with our stakeholders and getting the word out, getting the message out about the program, about changes coming down the pipe. And we really had to sit down as a team and say, how do we do better? And the first thing we said is social media is a powerful tool. So we are very active on social media channels such as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn in order to get out the story about GI Bill, not only the changes in the program, but the success of the program. And beyond that, we also embarked on a school tour. We went out for over the last year and we visited several schools across the nation. We visited some of our non-traditional training providers, 2-year, 4-year schools. We even visited some companies to find out what does the employment field look like when students finish their degrees. So we really try to take a grassroots approach, go out, see the folks where they are and talk to them about the GI Bill program and how can we make it better. We realized the impact and how powerful it was to go out and about, and we're going to continue to do that. So the work is not done, it's just getting started. So we always get the question about what was in the Colmery Act, exactly what was in there. You talk about sweeping changes. Well, there was actually 34 provisions within that piece of legislation that became law. And out of the 34 pieces, 31 provisions impacted the space of education, 31. It expanded programs for the GI Bill program, such as the STEM scholarship, which offers up to additional 9 months of benefits for individuals, and STEM-related degree programs at an undergraduate level. Also, we have the Vet Tech program, which is a 5-year pilot program that allows for individuals to go to non-traditional schools to earn a short-term certification program. And then at the end, the training provider is on the hook to find that veteran employment. That's a pretty amazing deal. We also expanded benefits for Purple Heart recipients. Certain Purple Heart recipients are now eligible at the 100% benefit level regardless of service time. Also we expanded Yellow Ribbon for certain individuals, as well as expanded benefits for reservist members. It truly is the most comprehensive changes since post 9/11 GI Bill has been in place. We went through an interesting ride for the last 2 years. So this year we were very laser focused on a few key areas. One of those being IT, in terms of our systems, making sure that we're providing the best services possible to our student veterans, as well as for our employees who process those education benefits each and every day. That experience is very important. So it's important for us to really be thoughtful in thinking about the future state of GI Bill benefits and where we're headed in the future for our students as well as for our employees. Also, the other piece is communications. Communications is very important. This last year, we tested out a lot of new realms for us in terms of communications. So we want to be able to solidify that for the long term as it relates to making sure we have robust communications across the board for all our stakeholders, getting the word out about what's happening and what's going on. And then lastly, collaboration. Collaboration is very important. We realized how important that was last year with our VSO partners, and we want to make sure that's stronger this year, not just with our veteran service organizations, but also with our school administrators. They're a key player in this as well. And we want to make sure that we're partnering with them across the board to provide those bridges and fill in those gaps, so that way we're providing the best services possible. And we believe by the end of this year, we will achieve best year ever.
Veterans are the backbone of our country, and the Association of Military Banks of America is committed to serving those who have served. That's why the Department of Veterans Affairs is partnering with AMBA to launch the Veterans Benefits Banking Program, or VBBP, to provide veterans a safe, reliable, and inexpensive way to receive and manage their VA monetary benefits. Many veterans currently receive their VA monetary benefits on prepaid debit cards or by paper checks, and some have experienced problems using these payment methods or found it difficult to access traditional banking products and services. The VBBP is an effort to offer all veterans an opportunity to deposit their benefit funds directly into existing or new accounts offered by participating AMBA member banks. Our veterans who receive monetary benefits should have as many financial management and services options as possible. Participating VBBP banks will offer eligible veterans federally insured and regulated financial products, services, and education that can be tailored to their needs and the needs of their families. The VA remains committed to providing veterans with the benefits they have earned in a manner that honors their service. AMBA is a not-for-profit association of banks and related financial service providers that for over 60 years has worked to serve and protect the financial future of military members, veterans, and their families. The VA and AMBA are proud to provide this opportunity to connect veterans with banks who understand their needs and to ensure those who have served receive the highest levels of service in return. For any questions, please call the VA at their toll-free number 1-800-827-1000. To learn more about the program, visit benefits.va.gov/banking or veteransbenefitsbanking.org.
Attention, fellow Vietnam veterans.
If you have a condition linked to exposure to herbicides,
including toxins like Agent Orange,
and you served offshore of the Republic of Vietnam between 1962 and 1975,
you may now be entitled to expanded VA benefits due to the Blue Water Navy Act of 2019.
veterans who served offshore and were previously denied for Agent Orange-related conditions can refile.
survivors of deceased veterans may also be eligible.
VA is dedicated to helping Blue Water Navy veterans and our families get the benefits we've earned and deserve.
For more information and to see the list of conditions that VA considers related to herbicide exposure,
visit va.gov and search Blue Water Navy.
Or call 1-800-749-8387.
brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Integrated Colmery delivery will help the GIs be able to realize entitlements that they have so richly deserved by putting their life on the line. I myself am a veteran. I have been able to see directly the results of the GI Bill supporting and helping veterans achieve goals that otherwise they would not be able to achieve in their lives.
Integrated Colmery delivery will improve the veterans' experience by providing accurate monthly housing allowance payments. In the future, we are also looking to extend benefits to Purple Heart recipients, as well as improving the benefits that are currently available to our FRI scholars, among other things.
I myself am a Marine Corps veteran, and I understand how difficult the transition can be from active duty service to civilian life, and the fact that education is one of those elements that makes a difference in that transition, and education benefits are critical for our veterans to be able to achieve their educational goals.
The integrated Colmery delivery team will impact GI Bill beneficiaries by being accurate, on time, and accessible. I think we've checked all three of those boxes in delivering this solution.
The governance model for integrated Colmery delivery is different than anything that I've worked on. They had the integration of IT, business, and process integration all coming together. Having those three key work streams established as the Program Integration Office set us up for success because each had a seat at the table and was able to have critical decision-making capabilities and power.
When we look at Agile, it is an exercise in shifting a lot of the work to the left. In other words, we do the work early, whether that's testing, confirmation of requirements, building, moving all the way through the life cycle, as well as having communications and training tightly coupled with that effort.
The integrated Colmery delivery program is different from other projects I've led, specifically with the full involvement from leadership across organizations. When you have the leadership's full support, it transcends into everyone else who's involved in the project.
During week one of our knowledge transfer sessions, it was Accenture, it was members from VBA, OIT, we're all in a room together and we're going over scenarios and we're talking about sections 501 and 107. And we were having a dialogue and just all of a sudden everyone starts commenting, and it was actually valuable information to let me know that people had done their homework, that they had become familiar with the law and the way that VA does things. It was in that moment that I knew we were destined for success.
We used both a traditional and grassroots communication outreach method. That included things like Twitter and Facebook, but also outreach that included working with Rally Point and conducting a school tour nationwide to meet GI Bill beneficiaries and school administrators where they were.
What motivates me the most is knowing that I'm supporting the veterans. They put in effort day and night, and that effort is often unappreciated. And so coming to work and knowing that what I do ultimately supports them and provides them with better access to the benefits that they've earned, and that's really all the motivation I need.
Every decision I make impacts somebody. It touches someone directly. Every yes is not just simply a yes or a no. Every decision could potentially impact someone's livelihood, someone's education, someone's family, someone's future. That's what motivates me every day.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ray Telez of VBA, and I welcome you to the Managing VBA Performance and Results webcast for Quarter 1 of fiscal year 2020. Thank you for joining us as we begin a new year. Along with Dr. Paul Lawrence, we will be joined today by Charmaine Bogue, Executive Director of VBA's Education Service, and Beth Murphy, Executive Director of VBA's Compensation Service. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our Undersecretary for Benefits, Dr. Paul Lawrence.
Thanks, Ray. Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to be here again to report on VBA's performance in the first quarter of FY20. Time is valuable, so let's get started. You'll recall that VBA had a strong end to FY19. We did so well that we raised performance targets for 6 of our 8 business lines for FY20. And we challenged ourselves to have our hashtag Best Year Ever. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I'll report on how we're doing with these new goals and highlight important activities from the past few months. I'll review how each VBA business line performed and what that means for veterans, update you on the promises we made at the end of FY19, and let you know how we're progressing to make VBA's FY20 our hashtag Best Year Ever. Before we begin, let me remind you about the reach and priorities of VBA. We are a nationwide organization comprised of more than 25,000 employees, most of whom are veterans. In Q1, we distributed more than $30 billion in benefits. We continue to act on my 3 priorities. 1, providing benefits to veterans with excellent customer service. 2, fiscal stewardship. And 3, strong collaboration. Everything we do relates back to these 3 priorities. Within VBA, we have 8 business lines that you see on the chart. I'll highlight performance data for each business line for the past quarter. As I mentioned, VBA had a great year in FY 2019. Our teams exceeded our targets we set and accelerated performance across the organization. As you can see on the chart, we raised these targets, challenging ourselves to do more faster. Before I go into the specifics of how each business line performed, let me give you the bottom line up front. In the first quarter of FY 20, every one of VBA's 8 business lines met or exceeded their new targets. Because of this, I call our performance in the first quarter of FY 20 outstanding. Now, let's go through the business lines and touch on highlights. As you can see, compensation exceeded targets for Q1. We processed more claims faster and with a high level of quality. In addition to our usual claims, we started processing Blue Water Navy claims. Beth Murphy will talk more about Blue Water Navy later in the broadcast. And I want to draw your attention to something else. We achieved a record low claims backlog, or claims that have been pending more than 125 days. In November, the backlog was 64,783. As a reminder, in March of 2013, the backlog peaked at 611,000. The point is, veterans are getting decisions faster and spending less time waiting. Now let's talk about appeals. As you can see, we continue to drive down legacy appeals. That's fantastic, but the even bigger news is the overall success of appeals modernization. The new appeals process allows veterans 3 decision lanes to choose from. 2 of these, the supplemental and higher level review lanes, are administered by VBA. The target to complete these claims was 125 days, and we're beating that target. That means that if you use either of these 2 decision lanes, you are getting your claim resolved quickly and faster than the target. In short, appeals modernization is working, bringing veterans decisions faster. Now let's discuss veterans' pension and dependency indemnity compensation, or DIC. We place a special emphasis on caring for veterans in financial need through the Veterans Pension Program, and for survivors of veterans whose cause of death was service-connected through DIC. This year, we are reporting these 2 programs together because of the impact they have on our veterans and survivors at critical times in their lives. Veterans Pension served 237,000 beneficiaries last quarter, paying out more than $785 million. And we delivered more than $1.9 billion in DIC benefits to 437,000 beneficiaries. We did this work faster than our targets. I'm proud of our team's great effort and what it means for those they serve. Now let's talk about fiduciary. This program protects vulnerable veterans and their benefits from fraud and abuse. More than 177,000 beneficiaries are in the program. This quarter, we completed nearly 25,000 field exams to the homes of our most vulnerable beneficiaries, exceeding our target. Protecting benefits for this group remains a key priority for VBA. Next, let's talk about insurance. VA's life insurance program was developed to provide financial security given the extraordinary risks involved in military service. In Q1, we provided more than $1.2 trillion in coverage to 5.7 million people. As you can see, insurance beat its targets, dispersing claims quickly and accurately. Now I'd like to draw your attention to a challenge the insurance team undertook in Q1 to locate as many hard-to-find beneficiaries as possible. Their goal was to find 383 of these beneficiaries in Q1 of FY 20. I'm glad to report they rose to the challenge and managed to far exceed the target. With more than 1,400 beneficiaries found, they almost met their target for all of FY 20 in the first quarter. Congratulations to the insurance team. Great job. Let's turn our attention and focus to education. In Q1, education served more than 577,000 students, paying out more than $3.1 billion. As you can see, education beat targets for both timeliness and accuracy. The bottom line here is that student veterans are getting their education claims faster than before and with excellent quality. Of course, there's much more to say about education. In a few minutes, Charmaine Bogue will talk about the completion of the Colmery Act and what that means for student veterans. let's turn our attention to vocational rehabilitation and employment. VR&E supports veterans who have received a service disability rating by connecting them with programs for employment, independent living, and education. In the first quarter of FY20, more veterans use VR&E services, and more veterans experience positive outcomes. That means more service-disabled veterans are able to achieve their career and education goals and work towards financial well-being. I'm proud we are continuing this positive trend. Now let's talk about home loan guarantee. In Q1, we guaranteed nearly 260,000 home loans for $76 billion. The team beat the target to complete certificates of eligibility within 5 days. And you'll recall in Q4 of FY19, we set a new target, challenging them to complete 75% of these certificates in just 1 day. As you can see, they beat this target. The bottom line here is that veterans have faster access to home loans. We also help more than 22,000 veterans avoid foreclosure. And we continue to provide specially adapted housing grants. Thank you to our team for this excellent performance. Your work helps veterans achieve home ownership, a key part of the American dream. Let's move on to Transition and Economic Development, or TED. TED administers several programs, including the Transition Assistance Program, or TAP, which provides information on VA benefits and services. Interactions with transitioning veterans, spouses, and caregivers that happen through TAP briefings are measured by TAP touches. For Q1 of FY20, we had more than 90,000 TAP touches. And our customer satisfaction rating was 96%, better than our target. TAP is an important part of VA's effort to improve the military to civilian transition journey, but it's only one part of the work TED does. On December 2nd, TED launched Solid Start, a new program that fundamentally changes the way VA interacts with veterans in transition. Highly trained Solid Start counselors are now reaching out to veterans by phone 3 times during the critical first year of separation from the military. During these phone calls, counselors can connect veterans with VA benefits and partner resources and ensure they are aware of free mental health resources. If you get a call from Solid Start, ask any question you like, and the highly trained counselor on the other end of the line can help. We'll talk more about Solid Start in the next quarterly webcast. We had outstanding results in Q1 of FY20 with all business lines meeting or exceeding targets. But before moving on, I want to take a moment again to thank VA Chief Information Officer Jim Jaffer and his entire team for their continued partnership in VBA's performance improvement. As we raise targets to improve service to veterans, we rely on Mr. Jaffer and his team to help us improve our technology systems, processes, and measures. They continue to be great collaborators, and we wouldn't be where we are today without their help. In Q1, we continue to fulfill Secretary Wilkie's commitment to increase our outreach to veterans. As I just mentioned, Solid Start is an important part of that outreach. In addition, VBA completed nearly 2,500 outreach events. Of those, more than 500 were targeted to homeless veterans. I also went to VSO posts and conducted roundtables with veterans, service members, and families across the country. For those of you who want to keep track, follow me on social media. In terms of the budget, we continue to be able stewards and spend the money we are provided carefully. And we participated in hearings and other oversight activities throughout the quarter, continuing our commitment to accountability and transparency. At the end of FY19, I made 2 promises for the first quarter of FY20. I promised that we would complete the Colmery Act and begin adjudicating Blue Water Navy claims. I'm proud to report we fulfilled both of those promises. Charmaine Bogue will discuss Colmery Act completion next, and then Beth Murphy will talk about our Blue Water Navy implementation.
Thank you, Dr. Lawrence. I am pleased to introduce Executive Director of Education Service, Charmaine Bogue.
Thank you. Hello, I'm glad to be here to talk with you today. When we announced the reset of Colmery Act in November of 2018, we immediately got to work to ensure we could meet the deadline. We clarified accountability and program support. We teamed with OIT in a year-long effort to streamline technology delivery. As you know, we met our promise to deliver on December 1st, 2019. Within the first week, we corrected over 850,000 records to begin the process of paying GI Bill students in accordance with the Colmery Act. I'm proud of the work we did to deliver on this promise to our GI Bill students. This work and the Colmery Act's impact also includes awarding more than 950 STEM scholarships since August of last year, delivering over 7,000 certificates of eligibility in less than a year to veterans eligible for Vet Tech, increasing education benefits to the 100% level for more than 2,300 Purple Heart veterans, restoring over 17,000 months of GI Bill entitlement to those students affected by school closures. This was made possible because of the hard work of the 2,000 dedicated women and men working in our regional processing offices in Buffalo, St. Louis, and Muskogee, who support our GI Bill students each and every day. I also want to acknowledge our state approving agencies, who are the gatekeepers in approving education programs and who work with us to ensure that we provide effective oversight of over 400,000 GI Bill education programs across the nation. And to the over 30,000 school certifying officials who are on the front line helping our GI Bill students navigate the benefit process to attain their education goals, I say thank you. Please join us at the next quarterly webcast, where we will have more to discuss about our journey over the last year on our national school tour and the True Up coming this spring.
Thank you, Charmaine. As you may know, the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act was signed into law by President Trump on June 25, 2019, with an effective date of January 1, 2020. Secretary Wilkie exercises authority under the law to issue a stay on completing these claims to give VA time to prepare, and we promise to begin adjudicating claims on January 1, 2020. Now, Executive Director of Compensation Service, Beth Murphy, will talk about Blue Water Navy.
Thanks, Ray. Across VA, we got to work to prepare to serve Vietnam veterans who waited so long for these benefits. In order to more quickly determine veterans' locations in the Republic of Vietnam Theater, we partnered with the National Archives. They gave us access to deck logs of vessels to scan and digitize. This amounts to 26,000 boxes of deck logs consisting of about 28 million images. We trained all field personnel on the new law. We also gave additional training to experienced claims specialists who are designated to process and adjudicate Blue Water Navy claims. They hit the ground running. On December 31st, 2019, which was January 1st, 2020, at our Manila regional office in the Philippines, we completed our first awards. To date, we have received more than 16,000 claims from veterans and more than 1,200 survivor claims. We encourage you to file your claim today. You can search va.gov for Blue Water Navy. I want to take a moment to give a shout out and a big thank you to the hundreds of VBA employees who worked so hard over the past months to make sure we are able to provide Blue Water Navy Vietnam veterans with these benefits.
Thank you, Beth. I want to take a moment to close the loop on this topic with our Vietnam veterans. While this webcast is about performance and we look at the numbers to evaluate our success, we know that behind every number is a transitioning service member, veteran, or family member. These are just a few of the faces of veterans we are reaching out to about Blue Water Navy. I know there are veterans who have waited a long time for this law. We understand your frustration. We promise to get claims done for Blue Water Navy veterans as quickly as possible. I want you to know that VBA is here and we are all in on Blue Water Navy. We will honor you by fulfilling America's last promise to you for your service. In the coming months, I'll be doing LinkedIn Event Live events with VSOs to make sure that veterans are aware of both Blue Water Navy benefits and all the benefits and services VBA provides. One last but very important item. I want to highlight the new Veterans Benefits Banking Program. This is an easier, more efficient way to receive your VA benefits through world-class American financial institutions. Veterans can get a free checking account through any of the participating banks and have their VA benefits directly deposited. This program offers easy access to your benefits, greater security, and helps prevent fraud. If you're not satisfied with how you receive your benefits, I urge you to call the number on the slide or visit the website. Before I summarize our performance for this quarter, let me call your attention to the progress VBA has made over the past year. Compared to Q1 of FY19, we completed more claims in fewer days. We conducted more field exams. We processed education applications much faster. And we had more positive outcomes in VR&E. When you look at what we've accomplished this quarter in comparison to where we were a year ago, our improvement is clear and significant. So, to summarize, our team's performance in Q1 of FY20 was outstanding. We fulfilled the promises we made on time. And our momentum continues. Everything is moving in the right direction, and we are on track to have our hashtag best year ever. But why are we doing this, and what does it all mean? The better, faster, more innovative and efficient we are, the better we serve veterans and their families. When we have an outstanding quarter like this one, we are meeting our promise to provide veterans with the benefits they've earned in a manner that honors their service. And that's my #1 priority. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to Q2 of our hashtag best year ever.
This completes the webcast on managing VBA performance and results for Q1 of fiscal year 2020. Don't forget, we invite you to connect with VBA through our channels. A recording of today's presentation will be available at benefits.va.gov/stakeholder. And for VA customer service, you may call us at 1-800-827-1000. And to learn more about VA benefits, visit benefits.va.gov. Thank you for being here. We are glad you were able to join us, and we will look forward to the next time when we'll all continue to report on hashtag best year ever.